Welcome to the Daily Show. I'm Ronny Chieng. We got so much to talk about tonight. MAGA throws a party, Donald Trump rules by Sharpie, and Jordan Klepper freezes his ass off at the inauguration. But you know what? This is day one of the Trump administration part two. So let's get into our brand new segment, the second coming of Donald J. Trump.
I'm gonna come.
Yesterday was a momentous day for the country. The once disgraced president returning to office after 4 years, ready to enact terrible revenge against his political enemies. But first, party time! And what a party it was! Donald Trump got dressed up in a tux that actually fit him for a change and made his grand entrance in front of a Windows 95 screensaver. They played YMCA, which is America's new national anthem, I guess, while Donald Trump did a presidential jerk-off dance because that's not like a song that has its own extremely famous dance moves. Then they brought out a cake with an airplane on it, which is the coolest thing any 6-year-old boy can have. And wait, are they giving him an actual sword to cut the cake? Oh, don't give him a sword. Now he's dancing with the sword, and it's just a bad idea. He really just swung that thing around. We were about 3 inches away from finding out whether Melania is cake. Look, this was a long night of celebration, and he ended it by thanking everyone who was important to him, starting, of course, with the person standing directly in front of him.
I have a great family, I really do. I just look around. My son Eric has been so incredible.
Okay, I thought you were gonna start with Melania, but I'm sure you'll get to her next.
Then you have, where is my Ivanka? Have you ever heard of Ivanka? And Jared?
Okay, you know what? Look, he's saving the most important person, Melania, for last.
And we have Tiffany's here someplace. And Michael, let's try our great golfer, Don and Chloe.
Wait, who the is Chloe? His wife is standing right there. He's just making up new family members? And she does not look happy, okay? I don't know about the Panama Canal, but tonight the Slovenian Canal is closed. And look, it wasn't all partying and disrespecting his wife, okay? He also did some work, like actually a lot of work. Yesterday, that dude signed over 100 executive actions. I mean, look at them. He froze the federal hiring bill, something about genders. There, he said Cuba's a state-sponsored terrorist now. He renamed a mountain. Dishwashers are less efficient. What, he can do that? Look, he has so many executive actions, they had to scroll through the tracks like it was an ad for, now that's what I call MAGA. And being the showman that he was, Trump wasn't gonna sign these behind a desk with a pen and paper like a nerd, okay? No, he turned this into an arena show.
At Capital One Arena in front of a crowd of supporters, Trump putting into motion his day one actions.
After President Trump signed the executive orders at a desk that was placed on stage, he had a pile of pins. Well, President Trump decided to toss the pins to some of his supporters.
Wow. Whoever caught that pen is so lucky. I mean, that is going to be such a cool thing for those guys to show their kids once they get their visitation rights back. And even after he got back to the White House, he just kept signing. I mean, this guy was so in the zone, he didn't even know what he was signing.
Withdrawing from
What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization. Sir.
Ooh.
He's withdrawing from the World Health Organization like he's hearing the dessert options. No, yeah, I'll have the tiramisu and potential measles outbreak with that. I mean, if you could put anything in front of him yesterday, he would have signed it. Melania, now's your chance to update the prenup. Go. But you know, But you know what? I'm not going to be shitting on President Trump, okay? Okay, sure, he pulled out of the WHO. But, like, who are those guys? What are the odds there's ever going to be a pandemic requiring global cooperation? So I'm going to go to President Trump with an open mind. You know, he won the election, which means he's a great guy who's right. So I'm sure his executive orders are reasonable.
Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accords.
Okay, look, I know that sounds bad for these woke liberals, but, like, does it really matter? You know, 1 year we're in, next year we're out. We've been doing the hokey pokey with these guys for like 12 years. They don't even put us in a group chat anymore, okay? Also, newsflash, Paris Accord, yo, we're not gonna reach the emission goals anyway, okay? This world is over. It's just an excuse to go to Paris, which, overrated, okay? So, fine, he's taking us out of anything that involves the rest of the world, okay? I'm sure there's other executive orders that aren't any worse.
Among the many executive orders President Trump signed on Monday was this one, pausing the TikTok ban for 75 days. He says the United States should broker a deal to own half of the platform.
I think the U.S. should be entitled to get half of TikTok. And congratulations, TikTok has a good partner.
See? Yo, he brought back TikTok, just as my brain was regaining its higher order functions. I mean, oh my God, that was close. Now, if you remember, TikTok was originally banned because everyone thinks it gives China too much influence over Americans. And to be fair, before I started using TikTok, I was a white guy from Iowa, okay? But the point... The point is, the people have spoken, okay? We want China to change our brains. What absolute idiot even thought of banning it in the first place?
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, President Trump, for saving us from that guy. What I'm saying is, all these executive orders aren't bad, okay? I mean, what else is he doing?
And Trump is going to try, through executive order, to end birthright citizenship. It's a constitutional right that those born on American soil are U.S. citizens, regardless of their parents' immigration status.
Okay, that does sound like a major change. Birthright citizenship has been in the Constitution for over 100 years. But, on the other hand, should you just be a U.S. citizen just because you were born here? I mean, I think all citizens should have to prove that they're truly American by taking a quiz on American history and failing it. Okay? If your score's above 60, you're going back to Asia or whatever shithole country has educational standards. And to be fair, nothing too extreme so far. I mean, it sounds like there's a campaign Trump that says things to win, and then there's a President Trump who rules more moderately.
Overnight, with the stroke of a pen, President Trump issuing sweeping pardons to nearly all of the rioters charged for their actions on January 6th.
So this is January 6th?
Trump even granting clemency to the more than 600 people charged with assaulting or resisting law enforcement.
Okay, look, freeing violent criminals from prison seems less moderate and more like something Bane did, okay? But you know what? If you know your history, in that situation, Batman fixed it, okay? So, concerns are overblown. And look, these guys have been in prison for like 2 whole months already, okay? I'm sure they've learned their lesson.
Jacob Chansley, we know him as also the QAnon shaman. He put out something on social media where he said, "I got a pardon, baby. Thank you, President Trump. Now I am gonna buy some mother effing guns."
See, he learned his lesson. For more on the J6 pardons, we go live to senior legal correspondent Josh Johnson. Josh, where the hell are you?
I'm at a bank, you silly goose. Everyone get on the ground. I ain't playing.
Josh, what, are you robbing a bank?
Of course not. This is a bank robbery. Get on the floor.
Okay, look, it definitely looks like you're robbing a bank.
Sure, it looks like I'm robbing a bank because I'm in a bank holding a gun, demanding money from tellers who are crying. And we'll see what happens if they do not come up out of this money, all right? But I'm wearing a MAGA hat. And as The J6 pardons clearly establish you can't be wearing a MAGA hat and doing a crime at the same time.
Okay, wait. Hang on, how does the hat change the fact that you have a gun aimed at people's heads?
Without the hat, I'm robbing a bank. With the hat, I'm peacefully protesting a rigged financial system. Sandra, I've been very clear. I want the lollipops too, all right? The great ones, okay? Sorry, Ronnie, multitasking.
Okay, Josh, hat or no hat, the police are gonna arrest you.
And if they do, I'm a political hostage, much like these people who I'm currently holding hostage, all right? Sandra, the little pins with the chain, all of it in the bag. How many times do I have to tell you?
Okay, oh my God, Josh, did your gun just go off?
That was my bad, all right? I mean, these triggers are so funky, you just touch them and they go off.
Okay, I think you're in big trouble now.
I mean, I would be if I didn't have a second hat.
Okay, look, save some of those hats for me. Josh Johnson, everybody.